Fall Yo, what's up? Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to our live stream here on Twitch. I'm your humble host, FanaFreak, aka Moistmaster Flex. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Hope you guys had a good Monday, good start to your week. I sure had a good weekend. We did our after hours on Friday. That was myself, Lex Looper, Scott's Brand New, Blast You, and Apotheca. Dope, definitely a dope time. And then Saturday, went to go see the homie Fox at Exchange LA. A lot of the homies pulled through. So yeah, and then basically all of yesterday, Sunday, I just, caught up on a bunch of work, which was good. I needed that full day to kind of just wrap up a bunch of stuff. Cause yeah, I got a pretty cool week up ahead. Any hoops. These are our tunes that we've had the last couple months. We got Loving You, which is over here. It is 7 p.m. Loving You, which is a free download on 3000 Deep. We got Yap from the Man's Tombs on Thick Freakness, my label. We got Shadow Work. Shadow. Yeah, that's a new compilation that just came out about a month ago. We got Activator from Tubalo. Super dope UK bass type of tune. My Friend Remix on a really dope remix compilation for Rhiannon Rose on 3000 bass. Fresh Cut Freaks. That just came out on Friday. Bunch of newcomers to the label, including J-Boy, David Case, Robe, Jackpot, Gold Source, Rabble, Smile, and Longboy. Surprised I got all 8 of them. Yeah, a bunch of newcomers to the label. Really dope tunes. Mostly a lot of breaks, garage, and UK bass kind of stuff. And then my new release with Chuck Shadow and Lexi just came out on Friday. Newsflash. More of like a UK garage style speed house type of banger. That is out now. Newsflash. And then lastly but not leastly, I just announced this today. I have a Speed House tune coming on Thick Freakness on August 22nd. So yeah, please go pre-save those. Download, share, like, all that good stuff. Alright, and this is our shows we got coming up. This Saturday I'm going to be in Vancouver. My first time. Yeah, dude, I love that release on Gold Digger. Probably one of my favorites in a while. Somerville. I'll be in Vancouver this Saturday. My first time in Vancouver. Vancouver debut. I'll be there with Average Citizens, Pinio and Loeb, Rhiannon Rose, Sheps. It's going to be a daytime type of deal. And then I haven't announced this yet, but we're going to announce it on Wednesday. We're doing another after hours next month. That's going to be Curse of Tongues, J-Boy, Hot Fire, Rhiannon Rose, and myself. And then in November, playing this festival out in Norco, about like, I would say about an hour east of LA. But yeah, super dope lineup there. Definitely looking forward to that. got some other cool stuff cooking up. I'm definitely going to be at ADE this year, so any of the European homies who are going to ADE, I will be there. I'll be in Amsterdam from October 22nd to the 26th. Yeah, and anybody who's going to ADE, just holler. You know, I'll be there. And lastly, our sponsor, Eargasm. If you guys need earplugs for shows, definitely go cop some. Use code Phantom10 for 10% off. All right, let's get going in here. So you guys know the deal. For those of you guys that have been here before, I take these first come first serve on the Google form. And for whatever reason, if you guys need to skip, you guys are more than welcome to. You can use your channel points or send money to the bottom left over there. And I will only review your track if you're in the chat, if you're in the stream. You will get priority. If I come up to your tune and you're not here, I'm just gonna throw you to the back of the line. And then we'll get to you when we can, when you show up. All right. Looks like Leonard Ellis used to skip, so I guess he will be first now. So yeah, I'm gonna just name out the queue so you guys know where you're at. We got Leonard Ellis. Leonard Ellis up first because he used to skip. Alive after that. We got Chris Michael, Berserk. We got Crossfades. We got Degen. We got Isaac. Outside Line. SK. Misguided. Double L. And Arnold. All right, so yeah, that's the queue. So you guys know where you're at. And yeah, for any reason you guys need to skip the queue, go ahead and do your thing. All right, let's dive in. Nice one. Definitely summer vibes here. I definitely like I can imagine myself like going to like a beach club or a beach party and hearing this like style of music being played. It definitely fits that kind of vibe, you know, like just like chilling on like a beach chair, you know, with like a nice like paloma or something, paloma or a margarita with the sunset. Yeah, that's the kind of vibe this track gives me, you know. It's very nice. Super solid drums as usual. I'm loving the mix balance. It's very clean here. Everything's very much so sitting in its right place. The low end is very nice. The groove is very solid. Really cool clap fills as usual. That's always kind of like your kind of like secret sauce there. Um, Really nice distortion on the bass line. Like you have like this nice saturation and distortion on the top end of that bass line, so it gives it a little bit of a crunch, which is very nice. It's very subtle, but it definitely works. I love the guitars. The guitars are very dope. They also have this kind of like quality to them. Like it kind of has this like dirt to it, almost like it's like being sampled from vinyl, which is really nice. It kind of gives it this really nice quality. Really dope ear candy overall. I think vintage compression, nice. Really dope ear candy overall. It definitely adds to this like nice theme that you got going on. Loving the vocal. Vocal is very simple, but it's very catchy. Super solid arrangement overall. It was a very easy track to follow. Nice variation, so it was really nice. Really nice to kind of just chill out and groove to. The drop's very nice. The beat really breathes a lot. And what I mean by that is just the groove is just like very nice. It feels very open. There's a nice like dynamic range. You kind of get a feel to kind of just like dance and groove to it. So yeah, it's really nice in that way. And I love the addition of the saxophone towards the end of the first drop. Honestly, I don't think anything needs to change with this track. I think it's just really a really well done track. This basically sounds like it's done. If I was gonna be picky about things, I would say the only thing that I would probably do is I would make the saxophone more prominent in the second drop, just as a slight variation. But that's really the only thing I would say. I think you can either take that or leave that. You can basically leave this track as it is, and it's a fucking banger still. But if you want to go in and kind of just like add in some more sauce, you can always change up the second drop, add in a little bit more saxophone, like the saxophone a little bit more prominent. But I don't know if it necessarily needs it. It's kind of entirely up to you. This track sounds like it's done. It only started before after 8 bars. Okay, nice. Yeah, no, this is a really fucking well done track. Really well done. Good job, young Leonard Ellis. Super groovy. Definitely got that beach club type of vibe. All right. Up next, we got Alive, Chris Michael, and then Berserk. And after that, Crossfades. So yeah, stick around. Keep going. Nice. Hell yeah, dude. This is fucking sick. Lots of energy here. Um, Super speedy. Really cool sound design. Really unique. Um, Loving the tempo. Love the sound selection and the sound design. Super speedy. Love that mid bass that comes in on the build section here. Let me just replay real quick. Yeah, just like a nice little ear candy there, a little earworm that kind of just gets stuck in you. Um, Love the break beats, both in the first break build section and the second break build section. Very nice breaks. Nice energy in the build. Very sick drop. Loving the sound design. Really nice variations too. Definitely didn't get bored in the least bit. There's always something changing, something going on, but it stays very consistent with the idea. Um, as well as like the theme and the like melodic motif that you're kind of carrying through. So it definitely stays very consistent, but there's also a lot of variation that doesn't deviate too far. So it kind of just brings you back in. After it kind of takes like a little bit of a right turn or a left turn, it kind of gets back on the road, which is really cool. Um, I like the integration of like these funk elements and drum and bass. I think it's a really cool idea. I don't think I've ever heard anything like this before. I'm sure there's stuff like this out there. I'm just, I'm not too keyed in on drum and bass to listen to it enough. But I do love drum and bass, and I really appreciate it as a genre. But yeah, it's really cool adding in those funk elements in drum and bass. When I heard those, what I immediately thought of was like, this sounds like this would be something on like a really, like obscure random, reel or TikTok or something. It sounds like a TikTok song almost, and I mean that in the best way possible. I think it would really kind of, pop off like in as like some like random social media bit. But it's a really dope idea. I really dig this. Nice change up on the second drop to the halftime. I think that's really fucking cool. I was expecting some sort of change up, and it definitely paid off. So I think that's really well done. The only thing that I put in here, the only thing that I would say to kind of be mindful of is just make sure that you keep an eye on some of your dynamics, because when some of your respaces come in, they tend to be a little bit louder than a lot of the other kind of bass elements around them. I think it's more noticeable in the second drop than in the first drop. But yeah, I think that's just really just a matter of mixing. And that's something that you can kind of do towards the tail end of your process. So really, it's just like going back and kind of just making sure that everything is kind of leveled out and it feels like nothing's really poking out. I'm gonna see if I can find an example of what I'm talking about, but it was primarily in the second drop. But I would probably just, when you go through your mixing process, just go through the whole mix down, just to kind of dial things in. Yeah, it's more noticeable with some of those respaces, but also with like some of those like more staccato kind of plucky kind of things. They tend to be a little bit louder than some of the other mid basses around them. So kind of just go through and kind of level things out a little bit so that everything feels a little bit more cohesive. Um, oh, nice. But yeah, that's really the only thing I have for you. Really just some mixing notes. Um, yeah, I don't hear too much like funk EDM to be honest. But I think it's really cool. It's a really cool idea. Yeah, and really like my only piece of feedback is just go through your mixing process just one more time. Everything else sounds fantastic. Everything's really well done here. So yeah, good job. Hell yeah, brother. All right, we got Chris Michael up next. Boop, 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 boop. And then we got a new submission from Jack. So Jack will be at the end of the line here. I'm gonna read out the cues so you guys know where you're at. We got Chris Michael up next. Berserk after that. Crossfades. Degen. Isaac. Outside line. SK. Misguided. Double L. Arnold. And then Jack. And if for any reason you guys need to dip out or whatever, you guys can skip the line. That's entirely up to you. But you must be present in the chat in order to get your track reviewed. Just FYI. All right, let's get going.
Now, everything you heard is why I, the actual owner of the Alaska Cannabis Club, will be dedicating all of my energy toward fighting for freedom and fairness, which begins with legalizing marijuana here in Alaska. And as for this job, well, not that I have a choice, but fuck it, I quit.
All the places that we've run, all the moments, moving closer just for fun. Tell me what you're gonna do. All the places that we run. All the moments, moving closer just for fun. Moving closer. Tell me that you're gonna be. Tell me that you're gonna be the one in my heart. You'll still be there when lights they go dark. Tell me that you're gonna be the. You'll hold me when it all falls apart. You'll be my remedy, my remedy. One, my remedy, the one, my remedy, the one, my remedy, the one, my remedy, the one. All the places that we run, all the moments, moving closer just for fun, moving closer. Tell me that you're gonna be the one in my heart. You'll still be there when lights they go dark. You'll hold me when it all falls apart. You'll be my remedy, my remedy. One, my remedy, the one, my remedy, the one, my remedy, the one, my remedy, the one. All the places that we run, moving closer just for fun. All the places that we run, moving closer just for fun. One, my remedy. One, my remedy. All the places you're gonna
Sorry, I had to like really quickly sweep through it. Yeah, dude, this is fucking sick. Really digging the sound design here. The vocal is super cool. It definitely makes the whole vibe here. Yeah, this is a relatively short track. Sorry, I can't read it. All right, 3 minutes 18 seconds. Yeah, I'm loving a lot of the sound selection here. The sound design is super dope. The intro is really dope. I'm loving the chord progression that you're playing here. The vocal is really cool. I do think it's a little too clean for my taste for this style of drum and bass. Meaning that I think you could just add on a little bit more dirt to it, meaning just like a little bit more distortion potentially, and maybe some more reverb on it. Just kind of give it more space, but definitely some more distortion of some kind. If you produce in Ableton, I mean, a go-to is always, I mean, funny enough, the Ableton stock guitar amp is actually pretty fucking fire. That's something you could play around with, but I mean, obviously there's a bunch of Other goats, there's like Decapitator, if you have Decapitator, or Trash 2, you have Trash 2. Um, those are all good alternatives. But yeah, I think the vocal could use a little bit more distortion to it. Very subtle, doesn't need to be anything too crazy. No, DJen, you have not gotten skipped. You're actually going to be fourth in line. And Misguided, you are somewhere towards the end, actually. I can go through the queue again, but yeah, you're up here, like in Misguided is the number 8 position. But yeah, Chris Michael. Yeah, the vocal just needs probably just a little bit more processing to it. It is a little bit loud, so maybe if you add some more distortion onto it, just kind of bring it down a little bit, and then also a touch more reverb. A very nice build. I'm loving the energy here, both in the build section as well as in the drops. The drops are very nice. Really nice sound design. Again, really nice energy. I'm loving like the really like cool mid basses, bass like womps kind of going on. Wubs, all that stuff. I think the vocal works really well in the drops. It definitely works to carry through the entire track. So yeah, it's really fucking dope. Overall, very solid arrangement. It was very easy to follow. I might, if I had to be picky here, I might make the second break a little bit longer, just to get a little bit more, dramatic and emotional. Especially because you have like such a cool vocal. I think you can play around with like some piano chords in that second break before you dive right back into the drop again. Because this is a relatively short break section. I would say it was only probably about 16 bars, maybe. But yeah. And then again, I really love the second drop. The only other note that I had here is that the sub kind of feels lacking. Okay, I'll wait till you get back. All right, you're back. Okay, like I said, really solid arrangement. But if I had to be picky, I would probably make that second break longer. I think looking at it, I mean, I don't know exactly, but just looking at it, looks like it's only probably about 16 bars. I think you could probably get in another 8. You could play around with some really emotional. You can get away with some really emotional kind of like piano chords. Really kind of just draw out that vocal, make it a little bit more dramatic and moody before you dive right back into your build section. I think that would be dope. Really, really dope. Add in some more tension and drama and all that good stuff. Yeah, and then honestly, the rest of the second drop sounds great. And then my only other note on this is that the sub kind of feels lacking at some points. Sometimes it's very, very noticeable, and other times it kind of feels like it kind of just like falls off. My assumption is that some of those sub notes are playing too high in the register, so they're not really registering. You're not really kind of feeling that kind of sub. So I would probably mess around with your sub line and kind of put it in a spot. Some of the notes need to go further down in the register without losing, kind of that really kind of deep, heavy sub. So yeah, just something to consider from a mixing perspective. But yeah, definitely I would suggest making the second break a little bit more longer, as well as moodier and more dramatic. Maybe add in some piano chords. And then number 2, definitely make the sub a little bit more present in the mix. And I think it's just a matter of kind of moving around some of the notes. But yeah, overall, very dope tune. Loving the energy here. Hell yeah, brother. All right, Akina used a skip. So let me grab Akina's tune here. 1 second. Yeah, no problem, man. Okay. Akina used a skip, so he's up next. I'm gonna name the queue again just so you guys know where you're at. We got Akina, we got Berserk, we got Crossfades, Degen, Isaac, Outside Line, SK, Misguided, Double L, Arnold, and Jack. And as always, if you guys aren't here, I'm gonna move you to the back of the line, so just stick around until your name is called. All right, let's do it.
All my friends are hot, and they only dance to.
Knowing that you don't know anything. Once you realize that all the shit you used to care so much about just keeps you a prisoner of your own mind, you stop trying so hard, and you surrender to the knowing that you don't know anything. But have you ever thought, what if this is all just a dream? Oh, darling, what is the meaning of life?
Are hot, and they only dance to techno, 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 techno. My friends are hot, and they only dance to techno.
the reality is like I don't even like techno, and this was fucking dope. This is fucking sick. Well done, Akina. This is super sick. Very nice groove. This vocal is super dope. I think it works really well for this style. Kind of more on the lines of like spoken word. It doesn't need to be like too crazily melodic and harmonic. It works really well. It kind of has this very like ravey after hours type of vibe, warehouse type of vibe. I think the vocal is a little bit loud in the mix, but I think that is only with respect to the intro. I think in the drop sections it actually works really well because it's kind of pokes out, and that's kind of what you want for it. You want it to poke out of the mix. So yeah, maybe it's just something you kind of just need to dial in the breaks. That the earlier intro section. Yeah, and I think that's an easy fix, just like dynamically. And also I put here, you could probably shave off a smidge of the low end on the vocal. I don't think it needs to be that, I'm not deep, so to speak, but yeah, I think you could shave off a little bit of the low end. Not a ton, just a smidge. Very cool sound selection. I'm loving all the ear candy and the stabs. The drop is absolutely sick. Lots of really nice energy. I'm loving the rave synths in there. And really nice momentum. You do a good job of just moving things forward. It's just like you're on the train and it just keeps going. You know, there's no stops. Just keep going, which is really dope. All the hats and the rides are very clean. Something I definitely noticed there. And I really love the second break section. Definitely gives the listener a chance to kind of just like breathe and chill for a little bit. And the spoken word vocal in the second break is really dope too. Definitely adds to the kind of mystique, kind of spooky, kind of dark after hours vibe we got going on here. And then really nice energy in that second build. You do a good job of building up the tension and diving back into that second drop. The only other thing that I might add on top of that is I think the kick sub could be a little bit, it could have a little bit more power. So maybe just kind of boost the low end ever so much on that kick sub. I guess it's just, in techno, it's just a kick, huh? It's just a really big kick. So yeah, just, I would say just kind of boost the low end on that kick a little bit more. I would have liked to hear and feel a little bit more low end, a little bit more sub. But yeah, everything here sounds fantastic though. Very well done, Akina. Hell yeah, brother. Thick tune here. Yeah, definitely a fire tune. All right. I'm gonna go pee real quick, but we have Berserk up next. Bing bong. Ugh. All right. Let's jump into Berserk's tune, Energy.
Energy in motion. Energy in motion.
Nice one. Super thick bass house vibes. Really dig it. Really nice kick. The kick is basically is like a rock bed foundation for this track. Super solid groove. I like all the drum elements you picked here. Overall, really nice sound selection and sound design. I love the introduction of the initial melody as well as the introduction of those bass swamps. You do a good job of, like, you know, just simple kind of auto filter with a little bit of a washout. Very, you know, common trick. I actually use this trick a lot too. Really easy way to introduce your elements. So yeah, very nice, very well done. Very nice energy in the build section. I'm really digging the vocal. It's very subtle, but very effective. You know, it doesn't have to, you know, any like crazy, you know, melodic phrases or, you know, some crazy flow or something. It's just super simple energy, but it's used to great effect, honestly. Ableton Fade to Gray for the win. Hell yeah, brother. I'm loving the drops. The drops are super cool. Love the bass line. Super solid sound design. Super solid arrangement. Very nice variations. It was really easy to follow. Loving the energy in the build sections. Really nice fake drop on the second drop, and yeah, really digging all the change ups and variations in the second drop, so it didn't feel like a copy pasta. To be perfectly honest, I have no feedback for you. I think this sounds fantastic. It's fucking really well written tune. It sounds super clean. This is definitely something playable. You could definitely play this out and it would probably pop off in the club. And when I was listening to it, it kind of reminds me of the homie Foxed, kind of like his style of bass house, which is really dope. I like this. I like this style for sure. Good job, Berserk. This is fucking sick. Keep doing what you're doing. This is sick. Hell yeah, brother. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah, no problem. All right. Excuse my yawn. All right, we got the man's Crossfades up next. Crossfades here. Do 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 do. Yo. All right, we got Crossfades up next. Then Degen, then Ezok, Outside Line, SK, Misguided, Double L, Arnold, and Jack. Let me just double check the Google form to see if we got any other submissions. No other submissions. Okay, this is our queue then. Let's go with Crossfades. Nice one. It's almost like a kind of like a summer tech house kind of vibe, but definitely more poppy than a lot of the stuff that you normally write, which is really cool. I haven't really heard you make this kind of style of tune, but I'm really digging it. It's definitely like poppy, kind of like tech house. Definitely something you would probably hear in the summer at like a pool party or something. Super dope. Solid kick and drums. Nice vocal. That vocal that's kind, I guess it's more of like a background vocal. It's more of like a supporting kind of vocal, but it definitely works. It's definitely kind of sets the tone and the vibe here. Loving the groove on the bass line as well as the chords. Really nice chord progression here, as well as the sound selection you picked for those specific chords and bass line. Very nice. I put here, I wasn't expecting this style for sure, because like a lot of the other stuff you send tends to be a little bit more kind of like wonkier, almost like Dirty Bird kind of style, kind of tech house. I guess you've also sent like some Latin tech stuff too. But yeah, definitely wasn't expecting this more poppy kind of tech house, but it's really cool. I'm really digging it. I'm loving the kind of, I love the arrangement here so far, although I would make some tweaks to it, which I'm going to kind of dive into here in a second. The actual lead synth that you have here is super cool in the first half of the first drop. Beam boom 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 beam. Definitely follows the kind of chord progression. Very nice sound selection too. And the vocal is super dope. I like the actual lead vocal here. My only qualm with the arrangement is that I think you basically should flip that. I feel like the vocal should be on the the first 16 bars of this drop, and then that lead synth should come at the very tail end of the drop. And that vocal should kind of be introduced sooner, either in the intro, that's like, second 16 bars, or in the break section. I feel like the vocal should be actually be more prominent and more forward, as opposed to being on the tail end. So yeah, I would basically swap, this first 16 with this second 16, swap that, and then introduce the vocal a little bit sooner. But definitely, you have like a lot of really super solid ideas here that, again, it just needs to be kind of rearranged a little bit. And obviously this is a whip. This is just intro, build, and first drop. Obviously you're going to get into more stuff, but I think that's where changing that lead into the second half of the first drop will actually make things easier, because you can bring that lead into your second break, as well as bring back those chords and all that good stuff. But yeah, I think really that's the only thing I would probably change here, is basically just arrangement stuff, and then bring that vocal in sooner, because that vocal is super dope, and I think it should be more prominent, more front and center, and more forward. Yeah, but this is a super dope idea. Good job, Crossfades. Young Gus. Well done. I'm digging the vibes here. I forgot to turn on my light, dude. What's going on with me? All right. Yeah, good job, young Crossfades. Well done. I'm digging the vibes, though. All right, we got DGen. Beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop, beep, boop. DGen in the chat. DGen in the chat. Yo, DGen is here. I'm gonna check the Dodger game real quick. Oh, they're still down. Damn it. Alright, anyways. I digress. Let's go to DGen.
I just want one more night. With you, I just want one more night, one more night.
Damn, this is sick. I don't normally get a whole lot of trance in here, which is really dope. This is a bit unexpected. And I don't listen to a whole lot of trance myself either, but this is fucking fantastic. I love that I don't get enough trance in here, man, because it makes this one even more special. Super dope vocal, and I think you use it to really great effect. It didn't feel like it was getting repetitive, even though you kind of used a lot of like the same sort of phrases and stuff. I think it's purely because you used a lot of vocal chops and stuff, so it definitely kept it fresh, which is really well done. Intro is very nice, very kind of dramatic, very nice arpeggio, solid reverbs on all the elements, so everything feels like it's, you know, has like a nice space. Solid bass line, solid chord progression, of course. Solid energy in the build, very fat drop. It starts off very minimal, but definitely starts to progress as you add in more layers and more elements and stuff. Really fat kick, really nice sound design. I guess the only piece of feedback that I really had is that there's like this stab in the first drop that feels a little bit dry.
I just want one more
Meh. That one just feels a little bit dry to me. So I would just probably just add in a little bit more reverb to that. Really nice vocal chops, and I mean pretty much all around. But I think it's really well done in the drop because it keeps the vocal definitely a lot more fresh, so it doesn't feel so repetitive. I also love the change in the chord progression on the second half of the first drop. Diving into that second break, that middle section. Somebody mentioned that middle section is the sauce, and I agree. Actually, that you said that. The middle section is definitely the sauce here. Really nice arpeggios, super solid arrangement. I love that it goes into this like little kind of open chord progression thing that go like a lot of like really nice stabby chords. Very, very lovely there. Love that section there. The double build is sick. I think it's a really well done. It didn't feel, you know, like out of sorts or wonky in any way. I think it was really well executed. And it definitely makes for a better second drop there. You built up the tension very well, and then it pays off very well in that second drop. And I love that the second drop is different from the first drop. And then lastly, I love that there's 3 drops here. Not only did we get 2 really dope drops, but we also got a third drop. I mean, the third drop is kind of similar to the first drop, but I think that's still kind of cool. Definitely left the listener anticipating more, which is really good. I think that was a really, really nice touch. So yeah, really the only piece of feedback that I have here is that the little stab you got going on in that first drop probably just needs a little bit more reverb. But that's just about it. Everything else here sounds fantastic. I think this is a really, really well done tune. Good job, Degen. Really sick trance vibes going on here. Yeah, no problem, man. All right, we got Isaac. Had Me V1 from Isaac. Or Isaac, or Isaac, or Isaac. Going once, going twice. All right, let's keep it moving forward. Do we got Outside Line? It Takes Time, Outside Line. Outside Line going once. Outside line going twice. All right, no outside line. All right, do we have SK? SK in the chat. Do, 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 do. SK going once. SK going twice. No SK. Oops, excuse me. Alright, do we got misguided? Misguided in the chat. Misguided. Yeah, man, go ahead and submit. Beep, 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 beep. Misguided going once. Oh, outside line. There you are. All right. Since you're here, outside line, we can dive into your tune real quick. Let's do it.
Sometimes I wonder why I'm still hiding from this feeling like I'm on the run. With your chasing stars, but I have to get the healing to be what you want. Sometimes I wonder why I'm still hiding from this feeling like I'm on the run. With your chasing stars, but I have to get the healing to be what you want. But it takes time. Sometimes I wonder why I'm still hiding from this feeling like I'm on the run. With your chasing stars, but I have to get the healing to be what you want. Sometimes I wonder why I'm still hiding from this feeling like I'm on the run. With your chasing stars, but I have to get the healing to be what you want. But it takes time. Sometimes I wonder why I'm still hiding from this feeling like I'm on the run. With your chasing stars, but I have to get the healing to be what you want. But it takes time.
Nice. Very nice one. Yeah, super, super happy kind of tune. I mean, I'm used to listening to a lot of kind of more darker and spookier and bassier type of tunes. This is definitely a nice change. Really nice intro and sound selection. Solid tension building. You do a good job of just like adding layer on layer on layer on layer. So you're definitely feeling this progression as you go on along. Super solid vocal. I think the vocal is very well processed. Very nice chord progression here. And the vocal definitely sits on top of that really, really well. So it's definitely a nice accompaniment. Really nice reverb on your elements. So you definitely have a nice space here. Definitely have some nice depth. So you kind of feel like you're kind of locked in on in a space, which is really nice. The drop is super solid. I love all of the melodic elements. Everything plays together very nicely. And I think the sound selection is just very well done. Really cool ear candy, and overall very solid arrangement. It feels like a lot of the fat is trimmed here. It's very short, very sweet, but to the point. It's very direct. You know exactly where this track is going as you're listening along. My only piece of feedback that I have is that the low end feels like it's kind of lacking in the drop section. Yeah, I mean, all I can really say is kind of I would boost your sub in the drop sections. Concurrently, I would also auto filter a little bit of the lows out in the break builds, just so that when your sub comes in on the drops, it's way more impactful. So I mean, you don't have to like, obviously you don't have to like entirely low cut your sub in the break sections, break build sections, but I would just shave a little bit more off. That way when you hit the drop, you get like a full force sub, and then in like the break build section, you're getting a little bit of more subdued, so you're getting a nice little contrast, and it'll make your sub even more effective. But really, that's the only thing I'm hearing here. Everything else here sounds fantastic. I think it's a very well written tune. Yeah, good job. Outside line. Hell yeah, brother. And Chakra, I did get your tune. It is now in the queue. All right. Let's keep it moving. Do we got Misguided? Misguided, you got a second chance. Misguided going once. Misguided going twice. All right, no Misguided. Do we have Double L? This is a very cute pupper in here. This German Shepherd. It looks like a German Shepherd. It's like a black German Shepherd. Do we got Double L in the chat? Double L is here. Right on time. All right, let's give this a listen.
Supposed to be, might be as elusive as it's close to me. She's been feeling further than her memory. Just want to go back to how it used to be. How we're supposed to be, might be as elusive as it's close to me. She's been feeling further than her memory. Just want to go back to how it used to be. Used to be. Supposed to be. Just want to go back to how it used to be. How we're supposed to be. Might be as elusive as it's close to me. She's been feeling further than her memory. Just want to go back to how it used to be. Used to be. How we're supposed to be, might be as elusive as it's close to me. She's been healing further than her memory. Just want to go back to how it used to be. Used to be. How we're supposed to be. Just want to go back to how it used to be. 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 How we're supposed to be, might be as elusive as it's close to me. She's been healing further than her memory. Just want to go back to how it used to be. Used to be.
Nice one. Yeah, super dope groove here. Very cool vocal too. Nice reverb, pretty much on most of the elements, including the vocal. Really nice strings in the background there in the intro. I do notice a bit of a hiss on the vocal. So I would probably throw a de-esser on that vocal just to catch a little bit of those S's. Yeah, throw a de-esser on that vocal for sure. I think it's also kind of being exacerbated by the fact that you have the reverb on there. So it's basically taking that S and kind of just amplifying it. So yeah, definitely I would say put the de-esser on first before most of your other processing. Put it earlier in the chain. Very solid low end groove, but it does feel a bit muddy in the low end here. Kick sub relationship, I think your side chain just needs to be dialed in a little bit more aggressively. Really nice bassline motif. I would have probably introduced the bassline motif, the melodic idea, a little bit sooner in your intro and build, just so that it kind of gives the listener some anticipation. It kind of just like teases it in, you know. I like this like little whistly kind of synth and choir vocals that you have coming in at the second half of the first drop. I think those are really nice elements to kind of tie in once the main vocal falls out. Super solid arrangement, going from the first drop into the second break and then back into the second drop. The second drop does lose momentum after the first 8 bars though, so like right when that vocal falls out in the second drop, it kind of just feels like an outro. So it feels like 8 bars of drop, and then like it feels like it just goes into an outro. And my recommendation is just to include some other lead element there that takes the place of the vocal once the vocal falls out, or you keep the vocal going. So yeah, that the second drop just needs a little bit something, some other lead element, just to keep the energy and the momentum moving forward. But overall, this is a very solid idea. It's a very strong foundation. It just needs, a little bit more work to it, and I think it'll be even better. Yeah, good job, Double L. Super dope tune. Very solid groove here. Hell yeah. Yeah, no problem. All right, we got Arnold, Jack, and Chakra. We got Arnold here. Arnold in the chat. Yes, sir, I'm here. All right, here. I'm going to go pee once more real quick, and then I'll BRB. All right. Now we got Arnold, Jack, and Chakra. Let's do it.
Show me what you got.
Nice one. Super sick. Very solid groove here. I'm digging the vocal. The vocal is like definitely like the standout for me. It's very simple, very kind of straightforward, but it definitely adds this kind of like character to the track overall. Very nice kick. There's a very nice pump and low end to it. I'm loving the lead melody and the vocal. Very good job introducing that lead melody and the vocal. Solid energy and tension in the builds. Solid groove in the drop. I like the opening of that mid bass filter. So it's very subtle, but the only thing I would mention about that kind of automation you got going on with the filter is just be careful with the dynamics, because once you open that filter up, you're starting to introduce a lot more loudness, especially on the top end. So you kind of just need to probably kind of dial that in with a compressor just to make sure everything is sort of like level. And I think it's too out of range. And then I did note here your arrangement feels a bit off, but only in the first drop. I mean, I wasn't getting full 8 and 16 counts. It feels a little bit short, and it was reinforced when I listened to the second drop. The second drop actually feels like the perfect length as far as timing goes, but the first drop feels like it kind of jumps the gun and it kind of falls out quicker than it should. So what I would mention is basically just keep the first drop the same, almost identical in length to the second drop, because the second drop felt perfect. First drop felt like it kind of petered out a little too quickly. I like that the vocal is here because you use it to very great effect, especially in the drops. It's very subtle, but you know, I kind of just like dives back in and out and in and out and in and out. So it's a nice kind of callback to the hook, the main idea. Yeah, that's about all I got for you. I think this is a very, really well done tune. Good job, Arnold. Hell yeah. All right. Then we got Misguided. Back to Misguided. Are you still here, Misguided? Yeah, no problem, man. Yay. All right. Misguided's here. All right. All right. Are your ads done? Misguided. Okay, you're back. Cool. All right. Yeah, that was a fucking journey there. Super thick drop sections. It was a complete like juxtaposition, like the intro and the drop section definitely felt like, you know, this like contrast, but that wasn't necessarily a bad thing. I think it's kind of like a really cool way to kind of like trip people up. It's very surprising, not to say the least. Really nice melodic ideas. I'm loving the kick pattern and the drum groove and the intro. I think you did a good job in your sample choice and sample selection. I was not expecting the drop at all, which kind of made it even better, I think. Definitely came out of left field. Love the changeup. The low end does feel a bit heavy-handed. And what I mean is that when the kick comes in, it definitely feels, you can definitely feel the change in the low end. So my guess is that the side chain needs to be kind of dialed in, because once the kick comes in with the sub, it does start to get a little bit muddy, and it's only when I first hear the transient coming of the kick. So yeah, I think that just needs to be dialed in. Your low end needs to be dialed in the breaks, the drop sections. Other than that, I love the sound design. The sound design's sick. Nice change up on the second break. I did note here that this almost feels like two different tracks at the midpoint, because the second break feels so much more different from the intro and the outro. So my recommendation is to kind of tie back in that melodic idea in the intro and the outro, the main kind of melody. Kind of tie that back into the second break, because again, it almost feels like two different tracks here, going from the first drop into the second break. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to have some sort of switch up on your second break, but you need to kind of tie back in the main melodic motif, just so that it feels like it's very cohesive and we're kind of following through on a single thread, instead of, you know, going on a different route and then coming back on the same route. Because obviously you bring that melody back in the outro, but yeah, it seems to get lost in this middle section. So find a way to kind of bring in, tie that thread back into the second break. That's all. Honestly, that's the only piece of feedback that I have, is that the side chain needs to be kind of dialed in the drop sections, and then basically bring that melodic idea back into the second break. But yeah, very dope tune, really sick sound design, very heavy. Good job, Misguided. Hell yeah. Boop 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 boop. Do we got Jack in the chat? Jack in the chat. JVVK. JVVK, set me free. I'm guessing it's Jack. Okay, I don't see Jack in the chat, so that's a skip. Do we got Chakra DMB still here? Chakra DMB. Chakra DMB, and then Kanto Stand. Okay, Chakra's here, so let's dive into your tune. Kanto is you. Okay, cool. You guys will be the last two of the night. Nice. Super dope. Obviously, this is a work in progress. It's titled Whip. But yeah, lots of really cool ideas here. The main melodic idea is very nice. You should definitely build on that, especially with the sound design. These drop sections feel a little bit short to me. So yeah, you could definitely. I feel like you can definitely kind of develop and draw that out a little bit more. Add in some more variations with the sound design. More, kind of. Yeah, just develop it out a little bit further. The vocal is very sick. I would have loved to hear more of the vocal. I don't know if it's just like that shorter phrase, or if there's more to that vocal. But yeah, if there's more to that vocal, I would definitely kind of integrate that into the track. And if not, I would just kind of try and use this phrase a little bit more effectively, and throughout the entire track. Loving the respace here. I put here, it almost feels like there's too much reverb at some point on some elements, with the exception of that main lead mid bass. The bum, 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 bum. I think that one feels actually way too dry. It's very forward, kind of in your face. So dynamically, it just feels like it's too loud in the mix, and it's also too dry. So I think that main bum, 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 bass needs to come down in the mix, and probably add in like a smidge of reverb on that, just so it kind of feels like it's in the same space as the rest of the elements you have going on here. And yeah, I think primarily, I think it's a very solid foundation for a track. It just needs to kind of just be flushed out a little bit more, especially with regards to your drop sections. I think the main melodic idea is there. You just need more variations in sound design, and obviously kind of just like dynamically, the mix needs to be kind of just be rebalanced. But overall, a super solid start to an idea. Good job, Chakra DMB. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, brother. All right. Last tune of the night here from Kanto Stand. Nice. This is super sick. Definitely feels like almost like Bloghouse. Like kind of feels like a throwback to I don't know, like 2014 ish. That sort of era. Definitely has this Bloghouse vibe to it. 2012, 13. When was I listening to Bloghouse? I'm trying to remember. Probably like back in like probably like 2010, huh? Ed Banger Wazo stuff, yeah, dude, it definitely fits that sort of vibe. I'm really fucking with it. Really cool groove, loving the kick and the snare. Definitely what you kind of want to hear from this style. Almost like it's almost like borderline like mid tempo, you know. But yeah, definitely has that kind of Blockhouse Ed Banger type of vibe. Nice reverb on the snare, has a nice little and there's a lot of like really big space here, so there's plenty of space for like a nice solid groove, which you absolutely have. Really cool sound selection. I'm digging all the kind of more minimal, more analog sounding kind of synths. Overall super solid arrangement. It was very easy to follow. Definitely digging the vibes here. The only thing that I put here really for feedback is I would probably stay away from such drastic panning of the elements. I think there's some sections where the panning just like goes hard right, hard left. And the only reason why I say that is because a lot of live systems tend to be mono, so some of that is going to be kind of lost. So I would, you know, especially for... You can get away with kind of like slight panning, you know, so maybe some of your drum elements and maybe some of your synths if you're going to kind of just like wave back and forth. But as far as like the hard panning, I think a lot of that's going to get lost. So yeah, just be mindful of that is all I would say. At the end of the day, it's your tune, you know, do as you please. I'm just the messenger. But yeah, overall super dope tune. I have never had anybody submit something like this in the live stream, so this is really cool. It's really refreshing to hear. Nasty facing on that function one that I'll never play. Hey man, don't tell yourself that. You know, there's that phrase, that saying that goes, you know, what is it? It's I think it's Teddy Roosevelt. Like, you are what you tell yourself, so, you know, right or wrong, you're correct, you know. So if you tell yourself you're never gonna do something, hey, guess what? You're basically making a self-fulfilling prophecy. So definitely tell yourself that you're gonna be playing on function ones, and I guarantee eventually it'll happen. Yeah, but that's all I got for tonight. That's all I got to say about that. I'm gonna call it quits for tonight. Thank you everybody who joined the stream, submitted tunes. Catch me in Berghain, Teddy Roosevelt. Thanks for joining the stream, guys. Thanks for submitting tunes. I will be back again next Monday, same time, same place. I'm gonna be in Vancouver this weekend playing a show, and yeah, I got some more tunes coming down the line. Follow me on all the things. I will catch you guys next Monday, same time, same place. Have a good rest of your Monday night and a good rest of your week. See you guys. Peace.